Oh, for real? Tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah, it's the CSL pack is 600 people. Well, I was trying to go through it, but yeah, it's very. I talked about it. So are you going to do the first? Yeah, I'm gonna. So you should be good to. Yeah, they're not busy. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got some things I need to put on the screen first. So if you can stop your share, where we go. All right. So.
You want me to pound on it?
Well, I have a.
Mine is on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out in September for our meeting. This is the September meeting of the El Dorado Hills Area Planning Advisory Committee. I am the chair, John Davey, Vice Chair Tim White, Vice Chair John Reslier, Secretary Bill Jamaica, and I don't see if Brooke is in yet, but she might be virtual tonight. But we're going to get the meeting underway. We only have really one project that we're going to talk about at length tonight, but we have a few perfunctory things that we always do before we get going. So let me grab my share on this. And away we go. I remind everybody, it's hard to talk and drive. So as we move through the meeting tonight, remind everybody in the room, the microphones that are on the desk, when they're green, they can hear you, but they're not for the room for amplifying in the room. They're only for our Zoom recording and for our attendees via Zoom. So if you have comments, we ask you to make sure you have one of these nearby. There's one of the microphone stand over there, and there's a few on tables. And for the room, just speak loud. I told I do that too much. So with that, let's move this along. We're calling the meeting to order, and I did introduce our officers. The adoption of our meeting agenda. Officers, are there any changes or anything you'd like to propose? No. All right. Moving along. We have an opportunity before we start the meeting and talk about projects to have public comment on things that are not on our agenda. So if there's anybody in the room that has a public comment on matters that are not on our agenda tonight, if you could find a microphone and let us know that you have a comment. Nobody in the room, and then I need to check online. Is anybody online? They raise their hand via Zoom. I don't see that either. All right, so we're going to talk about other things tonight. Let me move along. We remind everybody how you become a voting member of APAC is that you volunteer to work on a project review or a subcommittee. And we say it every month. APAC members can help you learn about the process that we use, but it's also very conceivable you might have a better process for us. So we're open to hearing that as well. So if you'd like to volunteer, if you walk up to me after the meeting, I guarantee I'll forget it. Guaranteed. But our email addresses are on the agenda, and we have our email address on our website, info@edhapac.org. So that's all about you guys. And then the very first thing we do tonight, after public comment, is the opportunity to have supervisor communications. District 1 Supervisor Greg Ferrero. Oh, I know he's in the room. Are you ready? Jump up, grab that microphone and do your thing. And then we'll see if Supervisor Turnbow is. Okay. Let's stop the share then.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Greg Ferrero. I'm the District 1 Supervisor. Thank you, team here for allowing me to speak again. Sorry I missed last month. I'm just going to typically go over things happening in the county and open up the questions, and realizing that time is limited tonight. I appreciate Costco coming out to address the presentation and address any concerns that public may have on their proposal. So I'll just go through some things that are major things happening in the county. We've got a couple of significant vacancies. Our chief administrative officer resigned last month, and so we are in search of a new CAO. The CAO is pretty much they're the leader of all the departments. It's the top official in the county who reports to the board of supervisors. And that was Tiffany Schmidt. She went back to a position working for the state of California, and we currently have Sue Hennedy, who is the deputy director, filling that role as an active CAO right now. We also our chief probation officer retired, Ron Rickard, and as of now, Casey Smith, who is the deputy director, is the new acting director for probation. Some things happening locally. I didn't know this before I started this position, and I should have working for the Highway Patrol, but the Highway 50 corridor between Dorado Hills and Placerville is one of the highest density traffic collisions between cars and deer in the state of California. It's like in the top 5. So there are going to be some flashing deer signs installed along the freeway. During rutting season, which is typically the fall, when the deer rut and usually migrate out into our public roads. And those signs should be installed and activated just after the first year, January, February. That's a Caltrans project that we are supporting. One of the things our new board, I say new, as of January, we're trying to do things more business related in the county. I'm sure you're all familiar with our budget constraints, and we're trying to look at ways to create revenue for the county, and look at all of the programs where fees have been charged typically, and where there needs to be increases, make those increases. In a lot of instances, there's been a lot of fee increases that haven't taken place in years, up to 10 years. So we are approving fee increases for building permits, things like that. And the budget is kind of covering the budget of different departments. Another thing we're looking at is a parks and trails cost recovery program. So looking at all of the parks and public space that we have in El Dorado County, and thinking, can we charge the park? Can we rent those places out? Can we lease out our sporting fields for baseball leagues and things like that? And can generate a little bit of money. We also are changing the job description for our chief information officer from a department head that simply manages the department to more of a chief information officer, where they're more strategic, looking at ways to I'm not a tech guy, but looking at ways to combine tech services that we have in multiple departments and be more strategic, focusing and see how they can, or see how we as a county can make our IT more efficient and more productive. Last month, I don't know if a lot of people don't know, but the prior board late last year approved the tobacco ordinance, which it had a good intent to limit children from smoking, but it really put a constraint on businesses, especially retailers like gas stations. It's very restrictive, where it didn't allow them to, if you own a gas station, if you own a business or tobacco license, it didn't allow you to transfer that license with the seal of your business. So it really, and that was just one example. And also, the policy really superseded state law, which is also pretty restrictive. So we actually repealed that ordinance this summer also, because we do have state law that applies to all tobacco laws. And back to being strategic and budget minded, we created a budget ad hoc committee, which is comprised of Supervisor Carlin and Supervisor Beercamp, and we're combining forces with we have a group called the Strategic Economic Enhancement Development Committee, who are private citizens, business focused, that our team was formed a year or two ago, but they're looking at a committee that's looking at ways for the county to save money, make money, be more business oriented. And all of these team members, committee members, they've all got years of experience in public, private sector employment, where they've done things like this in economic development. So that seed committee is going to work closely with the budget ad hoc, and hopefully we can make some changes in that.
talking.
Did we lose the audio?
Supervisor Ferraro, because we don't have a community council, I would like to bring this to your attention. I have never seen our intersections and streets as cluttered with rocks and stones and debris. And, you know, it would really be wonderful if we could get a truck to sweep on a regular basis.
You know, being an avid bike rider, I brought that to their attention also, and I was told, well, we do once a month, every street with curbs and gutters. And I don't know if that's happened.
No,
Zach? Write it down. All right. No,
Thank
I
you.
think it's the same thing.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and
Anybody else?
yeah, if you have a question for Supervisor, go ahead and grab or get in front of a microphone. So nobody else in the room? I know that Zach has had a long day too, because I saw him at the planning commission all day as well, in and out.
Watch the whole thing also.
Yeah, me too. So, we do have a couple questions online. Let's see. Yang, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You should be able to unmute.
Okay, so I can barely hear the speaker.
Okay. Is that green?
It is now.
Okay, well, we apologize for that. The microphone's been turned up now, so it should be better going forward. Thank you for pointing that out for us.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And, okay. So, I was checking to see, there's no more hands up, so if there's no more questions, boy, that was easy for you.
That was easy, yeah.
Yeah, are there any other questions up front? All right.
Yeah, I'll mention this since I know you're very interested in this, John. The Southeast Connector, JPA. We're actually going to have a presentation. We pay into that every year. And it's a corridor joint powers authority that was formed years ago. That the goal is to connect an expressway from Elk Grove up to Silver Valley along Grant Line and White Rock Road. But I don't think we've seen a nickel in this county on improvements. And the only thing they have planned up till now is a bike path up to Stonebriar from the county line. So we're questioning our involvement and whether we should still be involved in that, especially since we're moving down the road to try to widen White Rock Road, which is part of the corridor that should be improved with the JPA.
You know, I would like to say that for 20 years, I've been following that road. And on numerous occasions, the folks from Four Seasons and also from Heritage have sent in reports by traffic engineers about the sound walls and that as they pass from the county line down to Latrobe as being inadequate. And I think I would like to ask your help to get to meet the people in the transportation department to sit down with us and seriously discuss what's going on. Because in the past, I think anything that we wrote wound up in a circular file. Okay, and we've been doing this for a long, long time.
I know you dealt with John a lot on this, my predecessor.
And I know you want to go from Latrobe down to Silver Valley, and that's all part of, probably has something to do with the tie-in with Costco. But I would really like to have your help so that we can sit down with the people in the Department of Transportation, folks from Four Seasons and from Heritage, and to talk more about that road, to talk about the sound walls and the current sound walls and the fact that they're totally inadequate.
We could talk offline, but
Yeah.
aren't there walls already up?
Yeah, there are walls there, but the studies that they did, and I had a traffic engineer go over them. The study that was done was totally inadequate and didn't take into effect the height of the walls. The walls should be higher. They may want to have to top them with glass the way they do on some of the newer developments. And because that's federal money, it will have to be done. Okay, all of that road is federal money.
Well, my point was, we're not getting any of that. We haven't gotten any of that. So,
No, you haven't.
So I'll piggyback on that. We had a subcommittee do the sound study review, and we presented, we had the JPA Executive Director, Derek Minima, come and make a couple presentations to us. And, they're being very consistent in their voice saying, hey, the studies were adequate. They do comply with the federal as well as the state. Oops, I'm throwing
That's okay.
your beaten stick at you. Obviously our subcommittee had different opinion about that. So I think, a dialogue is fine. And Derek has been very engaged and very public about the project lately. He's been doing a lot of videos in a lot of places about what the JPA is. And it's a struggle. I know the money that we've contributed, the initial part of it really was to get the design, which was an expensive thing to do.
Yeah.
But are we still paying into it and not seeing anything past it?
I think it's 55 grand a year.
Yeah, and the one thing that he did say to me is, he asked if I knew Congressman McClintock, which I know of Congressman, but so basically they're looking for federal funding, additional federal funding, and it won't be coming right now. So that's a concern. And I also too, that like that JPA project, it will hit Silva Valley at the interchange, but really it's only designed to come in to Latrobe. And then past Latrobe, I think it's and Zach might point out, past Latrobe.
It's supposed to go to Silva, isn't it?
No, Latrobe to Silva is a county project.
But the JPA corridor goes up to Silva Valley, correct? Yeah, no, that's the
Okay.
plan. I remember when that was with the CHP.
Okay, I'll go back and look at the exhibits and the maps, but that was the thing. But they provided the design. That was the money was supposed to do that. But that's, like you pointed out, John pointed out, it's been many years of that funding, but.
No, everything's getting improved in Sac County. And that's why, us as a board, Derek, I think is gonna make a presentation. I believe it's the week after next for the board soups. So you might wanna tune in for that, John.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for your help
Yeah.
to meet with them. We want to have a real sit down with these people because we feel that they haven't been listening to us at all. That's the folks from Four Seasons and from Heritage.
All right,
So,
okay.
so now,
It's at the Board of Supervisors open meeting.
Yeah, and I think it's not next week. It is, I believe, the week after next. I could probably check and let you know before the night's over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
right.
Because we'll definitely have representation there.
Well, now you've prompted the question, Greg.
Okay.
Am I fine?
What was the vote on county country today? Because I have to tell you, there's a lot of people that were here and there, and we were told they were not voting until tomorrow morning. And we had left at about 3:00. What was the final vote on that?
It was 3-2. District 2 and 4 opposed it. And it kind of broke it up. There was four items to be approved that staff.
They didn't have a lot of answers, let me tell you, they did not have. a lot
Yeah,
of answers.
and it wasn't, I know it wasn't a conclusive decision to move forward to tomorrow. They just kept that as a placekeeper only if they needed to go over. And I know Chair Williams, he was kind of encouraging the group to postpone the decision until tomorrow so they could sleep on it and do some more research tonight. But ultimately, it did get approved 3-2. For both, there's a project, which is the hotel and the workforce housing across the street. And then there's the program part, which could be anything, multifamily, commercial. Yeah, we don't know that. Linda.
Yeah, Linda was there, so
Yeah, if you have it.
jump up.
So the final EIR was approved 4-1. The general plan amendment approved 3-2. The specific plan amendment 3-2. And then the rezone was approved with additional conditions of approval, specifically requiring EID to do they can't have a septic system. They have to have
You have to do a
sewer
sewage line.
through EID, yeah. And then they also had a requirement not across the project, not to surpass the number of housing units that had been defined, which was a total of 814 between the project and the study area. So those were the items that were approved.
So about,
Linda, can you tell us who voted, what the vote was, 3-2? Who actually voted for and against?
2 and 4 opposed it.
Yeah.
District 2 and 4 opposed it. 1,
Okay.
3, and 5 voted in
Voted
favor,
for it.
almost, for the rest, except for item 1.
Right, item one, included, District 4 approval.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it seemed like most of them, or it seemed like all of them, liked the project, they liked the hotel. But it's the ancillary things that they questioned.
yeah. So, and we talked about it, and, you know, in our comments to the planning commission about that project is that applicant, there's only one other applicant that's been as engaged with us. I think since 2018, they've been coming and talking to us. And I made private comments in addition to what we submitted for APAC, because I live in the Bass Lake area. But they've been very engaged in the community. I mean, they've talked to everybody for the last 7 years. So a lot of the residents immediately around that property are very supportive of it. Supervisor Ferrer mentioned, though, it's like it was technically 2 projects in one package, which that was one of our comments. We had a problem with the fact that it's a program study area that proposed some densities, but that's going to be a separate project where they'll do it whenever they have parts of it to bring in as a planned development. The hotel project was one thing, and I think the community was largely supportive of that in the immediate surrounding area. But, you know, whether we like a project or don't like a project, that applicant was so engaged with us. I mean, coming to meetings when they weren't on the agenda, inviting us to every event they held, and then letting us know when they're holding events so that we could let people who are like on our email list or look at our website, our social media, know that these things, they began the process going, saying, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you think? And that was in the immediate area. So the Creekside project from Wynn is very similar in that we've been talking to them, I think, since 2017 about that. I think we met at
Long time.
So, so we appreciate the fact that they're engaged and they're talking in the community and not just the planning staff, because really planning staff gets that one-on-one that we don't get. We hear about it sort of as it comes along. It's a move forward. So yeah, I was trying to listen today and I was in calls all day, but I did get some comments in, and yeah, like the planning committee, Commissioner Williams, Chair Williams had mentioned, you know, the documents released on Legistar on a Friday of the holiday weekend. And then we had to respond to the final EIR and put our comments in. So that was no holiday weekend. So, and we got our comments in by Friday because we wanted the planning commission to have time to look at them and consider what we had recommended. So that's that. And technically it's not approved. They're just moving forward with the recommendation to the Board of Supervisors. So you're up. Yeah, so you're up. So, are there any more questions about that project since we took a little detour?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, Bill, do you have something nearby?
Just a question about.
You need the microphone?
Here, you do it. Okay. You got one in there?
Sorry, I'm now feel phone approved. I just have just a very simple question to Supervisor Ferrero about the Joint Powers Authority. As John Rassler mentioned, we in Four Seasons have been dealing with this for many years, for a long time. And as you know, Supervisor Ferrero, this is a multi-county project. So what kind of, I guess it's a good way of putting this is, what kind of communication does El Dorado County have with the supervisors in Sacramento County about the progress of this particular project, as complicated as it is?
So we sit on their board. We have a seat out there at the board, the
Okay.
JPA board, and Supervisor Turnbull would bet. He's the chair. I mean, not the chair, but he's on that board.
Okay.
I'm an alternate, so I attend the meetings, you know, if I'm free,
Okay.
as an observer. But we do have a seat at the dais, and we have since day one, I would imagine.
Hand go.
Yeah.
We have one more for you. Sorry. Maria, you should be okay to unmute.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I can barely hear anything. I can hear you, John, clear. Those mics do work. I heard the last question asked in the room clear. Supervisor Ferraro, if you have a mic, please use it. Your mouth has to be close to it because I have barely heard anything you've had to say. These last 25 minutes have been just totally frustrating and a real shame. Just watching you guys and not hearing anybody. Oh, I did hear you, John Rassler, because, well, I heard your voice loud and clear also. But
Maria,
you
Maria,
guys
this
are
is Greg.
not
Can you hear,
using the mics.
Maria, can you hear me now? This is Greg Ferrero.
Yes.
Okay, I
And look, you're
apologize.
leaning into the mic.
No, I will
Finally.
hold it in my hand at future meetings. So please, I
I mean, you're a
apologize.
tall guy. You are so far away. You come across like you're standing in a closet.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, again, apologies to everyone listening online.
No, I'm sorry. I'll take note of that next time.
Yeah, and it is pretty low. I apologize for that as well. All right.
You guys remember that.
Moving along. Okay. We have no guest speakers. Let me throw this on very quickly. Sorry, screen. We're going to run. We usually do this at the end of the meetings, but we want to allow the time for everyone to talk about the presentation tonight. Project review, just updates on status of projects. So the Village of Marble Valley specific plan, they've been here a couple of times to talk to us. Their draft EIR comment period ended on June 23rd. That's 3,200 housing units on the south side of Bass Lake Road at US 50. And adjacent to that, Lime Rock Village specific plan, their public comment period for the draft EIR ended on July 24th, and we did provide comments for both. The Town and Country Village project, El Dorado, we just talked about at length. They're hearing at the Planning Commission today, and we heard that it's moving forward to the Board of Supervisors. Creekside Village specific plan, they published their draft EIR. We submitted our comments. The comment period ended on August 19th. I did hear from the applicant this week, and they think that based on the amount of questions they've had, and they've already answered, that their final EIR would be imminent. So we could probably hear something from them this year. Obviously, we're talking with the Costco representatives tonight. Generations at Green Valley, that residential project on Green Valley Road, their draft EIR was published, but we have had no updates since it was published. We did provide a lot of comments on that as well. And the last item for projects in the area are the Gateway El Dorado specific plan. They did submit their plan. The documents are on our website. They have a TAC meeting on August 25th. They had a TAC meeting on August 25th, and Bill attended it. I don't think TAC meetings, we rarely get invited, but typically it's for agencies to provide comments about what they see with the project, and so the applicant knows what's expected of them, and they can define pain points or where they need to provide additional information or mitigations. And they have a sign plan packet that they're working on for the existing 3 retail buildings that are right there at the south end of the project that are being built right now, and the 2 warehouse buildings that are done. So that sign packet will apply standards to anything that goes into that specific plan area as they build out. So the only other thing I was going to say about this tonight is that traffic was, Bass Lake Road. They'll be doing construction along Bass Lake Road starting on Friday with some lane closures and some reverse traffic controls for a water project. I think it's a lift station, if I remember correctly. Basically to provide additional capacity into the approved Silver Springs residential projects. They were on Bass Lake Road up to Magnolia Hills 2 weeks ago. They'll be doing this to the end of September. The road will have closures and one-way traffic controls from the entrance to the J7 Village, which is Edge Lake, if I remember the name of it. It's run up J7. And then the traffic controls will go all the way to Silver Springs Parkway at Bass Lake Road. So now you're up to date on all these projects that we have in front of us. But
Just one other thing worth mentioning on Gateway is they started the construction of Carson Crossing extension.
thank you.
From Golden Foothill out to Latrobe. Making a lot of progress. It looks like they'll be done by the end of the year.
I forgot one. One other item was the roadway from Heritage 3 that's crossing the Creekside Village property. It will be another connection to Latrobe Road. They're required to put a secondary access road in, and they started grading for that, right? Or they will be grading for that. And so we have the project documented on our website if you want to go and look at that. So I do have one hand up that we'll go to. Let's see if I can allow this. Sorry. And thank you for the kind message that the podium mic is not working.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Ivan. I live in El Dorado Hills. I just wanted to, just to kind of make sure that when the Costco representatives do speak up, just hopefully we can hear them through the mic. That's all.
We'll move another one over if that's a problem. So thank you for letting us know.
You're welcome. All right, bye.
Okay. So with that, tonight we have guests to talk about their project, and we've talked about it several times, the El Dorado Hills Costco proposal. I'll ask you guys to introduce yourself, but I'm gonna check this microphone as you introduce yourselves, make sure that we're ready to go. I might lift it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna stop my screen share, and if I can get the mouse over there, and you should be able to start yours. Make sure this is up high enough for you. Let's see. And if there's a problem, we'll get a hand up just in case.
Maybe we should do a little sound check with them.
Okay. Okay. There's no feedback with two, right? All right.
And I'll go like this.
I guess there's a reason why it wasn't up a little bit. If there's a problem, you can use that.
Should we just hold the button and use this?
This one's on too, so you should be double mic.
Oh, okay.
So can you hear me?
Oh, do we? Yes. Okay, then I guess we're not using two mics.
Yeah.
It's not that, it's somebody's got their audio.
Oh, it's the laptop.
It was on. Sorry about that.
Now is it better? Hopefully. Okay. Let's get this started. Good evening, APAC and the members of the community. Thank you very much for allowing us to present to you tonight and to the APAC group. I know you all have busy schedules, but we appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. We want to accomplish. Hold on. How do I move? Sorry, technical difficulties. We want to accomplish several things tonight. First, we want to introduce ourselves. We want to have a little bit of overview of the project history, project site, the current proposal, and the project overview. We're still, and most of all, at the end, we want to get your input, your comments. All of this will help us in terms of crafting and creating a much better project. We're currently still conducting our investigations and our studies, so we might not have all the answers tonight, but next time when we do meet, we'll have them when we visit again. So first, let me introduce myself. My name is Michael Akuma. I'm the AVP for development for Costco Wholesale. With me tonight is Lynette Diaz from Urban Planning Partners. For years, we've been looking, our members have been asking for a new warehouse in the El Dorado Hills area to give some help to the Folsom store. The Folsom store, as you all are probably attending, is over capacity. And we believe that having the El Dorado Hills facility would greatly help it. We're excited that we found a site
and we continue to work with the community and the county to bring forward this updated project. Back in where we started, back in 2019, the site to the left was our original proposal. When we first met with the APAC folks. Back in 2019, that was our initial proposal that we presented to folks in the APAC. We had a lot of comments, to say the least, and we took that to heart. Mainly the concerns, a lot of the concerns that were driven at the time was to move the traffic circulation and the warehouse to the south side of the street. So the project to, as you'll see on the bottom right, is basically where we ended up back in 2021 when there was a developer, the AKT Development Group. They had a larger, robust development, which is shown on the right side in 2021, that had a self-storage, had some fuel facilities and some additional commercial. What we're presenting tonight is a little bit less involved, intense. We believe that the current design takes into account a lot of the comments that we heard from the community back in 2019, moving the warehouse to the south, taking advantage, taking advantage of Clarksville Crossing as a secondary or primary access to the site, and then having the warehouse itself lowered or built into the hillside so that the view of the warehouse from Silver Valley is a little bit more muted. So we took all that into account. The current proposal today, and Lynette will present a little bit more, is reflective of that and a lot of the things that were brought up at that 2019 meeting. So with that, let me have Lynette present a little bit more on the details of the project itself.
Great, thank you, Michael. I'm afraid to move this. I am going to start out with a little bit of overview about the site history, and not just Michael kind of covered the project history. So because the site does have a lot of history, and then we will pull up plans that show you the current project and stuff and highlight the items Michael was talking about. But really over 50 years of planning in this whole area, which I think most of you guys are familiar with. And then in 2012, the property was rezoned from residential to commercial PD. And that was in association with the highway and the interchange and such. And then much of this Michael already covered, but we had the AKT proposal, and there's been a lot of history. So then just on the community engagement, during that time, we've attended several APAC meetings, CEQA scoping sessions with the county. We've received verbal and written comments from the community and county staff. And what we've heard, and we do want you all to feel like we've heard you, is a desire to move the Costco away from the residents to the north. That was an earlier proposal, and thus it's on the south side. Concerns over traffic along Silver Valley Parkway and student pickup and drop off. We've actually gone to the school. We've met with the PTO. We observed pickup. I've also observed drop off a couple times. And there was a dislike for the self-storage component, the fuel stations that were proposed on the north side by AKT, and then the mixed feedback was on the Costco fuel, some supporting it. We've heard last time I was here, we heard, why would we have a Costco here without fuel? And then, but you know, a lot of the parents are concerned about having the fuel station there. So we are listening. The process is long. There's a lot of analysis going on, as Michael mentioned. The county is working with Ascent, which is the EIR consultant, to try to complete the draft EIR, which will be published for public review. We hope sometime this year. We're hoping in the next couple months. And so we don't have a lot of answers tonight because we don't have the analysis. So the fuel station is still in the same location. Or some of the parents expressed concerns, or a lot of them did. But we really don't want to sit down and have discussions about that until we get the technical analysis that's been prepared by the experts. We recognize that even with that analysis, it's still a concern. And we're not dismissing it, but we want to at least start with the technical analysis. So here you can see that on the north side is the gas station, and on the south side is the warehouse. This area here, I'll show, it is a parking structure of sorts. The original plan, when everything was on the south side, the gas station was here, which actually put it a little bit closer to the school. Just real quick, the existing general plan is commercial. It's been commercial for a long time, retail, office, and service uses. So something is likely to be developed here. And then the zoning is very consistent with that as well. And it's commercial regional, which is really, you know, Costco, bigger site type commercial development versus like smaller neighborhood commercial. Okay, so, and I apologize, I don't know if there's anything I can do on my screen to make it, the whole thing more visible. John, is there anything? No, I mean, mine is full screen.
We have a copy, we'll post it on the website.
Okay.
As a PDF.
Okay, great. So here is just kind of where are we today and where have we been and where are we going? So our most recent application was resubmitted in 2024. We are now reviewing the county is doing the CEQA analysis and that, so we're still in that phase. You can see down under community engagement, the different meetings that have occurred, each one of these community meetings, the green dots meetings, stakeholder meetings. So when we meet with smaller groups such as the PTO at the school, we also met with the school district. And we plan on to continue to do that. You know, so we're right here tonight on this round of the project. We're at our second meeting before APAC. We have one more community meeting. There's also Planning Commission and City Council. There's more stakeholder meetings. Just because there's one more star and two more dots, that doesn't mean that's all we're doing. We'll do what the community needs and wants. So it's just to kind of represent where we are. So here is a little bit more detailed drawing. You can see with the fuel station and the Costco. And then the access points, my thing jumped ahead, but you can still see the same things. New signalized intersection and driveways here between Clarksville and the highway, and then a secondary access here, which potentially could be realigned when and if Country Club Drive extension is completed. So we've built that flexibility into this plan. This will be a modern Costco with groceries, home goods, local and national brands. You know, it'll be larger than the Folsom store and just newer and more modern than that. And there will be approximately 5.2 member parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of store area. The anticipated hours are pretty standard Costco hours. And for the fuel hours, you'll notice the fuel hours are extended. And the reason we do that is that if you wait till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to open, everybody's lined up waiting for it. So we find that the longer period of it being open actually reduces the number of people going through the station at the same time. Also, there'll be a significantly larger fuel station, so more people can go through it quickly and there won't be the backup. Just real quick, the approvals that we're looking for are required as part of this project is a plan development, conditional use permit for some of the uses that we're proposing. That variance just wants to keep coming back there for the signage. We're not doing a monument sign, so this one should not be there. A tree permit, lot line adjustment, and the environmental review. And I want to go back to this site plan real quick. We are only, as you can see here, using a small portion of the north site. And so the part that is still white will be a remainder parcel to be developed at some point in the future. Costco will most likely sell that off. So that is development of that site is not part of the proposed project. And when development is proposed on that site, it'll have to go through a review process like we are doing here with Costco. So you can see here, there is a lot of different elevation at the site. So Silva Valley Parkway is here. The Costco on the south side will be down, not completely below Silva Valley Parkway, but it will be dropped down. And then you can see the 2 levels of parking, and the top level will be at the same grade as the store entry is. And then Clarksville Crossing is down here. And then this is just kind of our look of the store, and from the entry canopy to the different perspectives. And just real quick, touching on the CEQA review. Actually, I think we covered that enough. I don't need to talk about that anymore. And then this has been the process that the county is going through and reviewing it, just so you all know. But that'll be on the PDF on the site. So with that, we're available for discussions and questions. And we'll try to give you answers, but we also might say we're waiting for the draft VIR.
So what we're going to do in terms of questions tonight, because the last few times we've had the same questions kind of over and over, the same concerns. That's great. If it's a concern, please go ahead and address that or a question. But if we can avoid repeating them, we'll get more questions in. And so we're going to start in the room tonight, and we'll start with officers first because they're here working. But also we'll go through the room, and then we'll go back to our Zoom attendees and see if there's any questions there. And that's just typical of how most meetings go. So officers.
Question for you. Clarksville Crossing, 1 lane each direction, particularly when it gets to the 50 overpass, hard to expand. Are there any plans to make it 3 lanes with turn-ins and turns out, or because that's going to be a traffic clog point?
Oh, that's a good question. From our standpoint, we saw the same thing. Our traffic engineer is investigating that to see if there's any opportunities to widen it to accommodate the additional traffic. They're going through the studies right now. I can't give you any more details. There is capacity in terms of width in there, and there is a way to neck it through the highway. We've figured out a clever way to do that. So if there is an ability to do it, we're just trying to figure out what it should be ultimately. So.
Thank you.
Question, the people that are going to go to the gas station, how do they get across to the main store?
It is likely that they will, sorry, I was going to put that up, but there we go. We anticipate that they will drive. There is a small amount of parking on this side. We anticipate that will be for employees. We will not be promoting regular pedestrian crossing across this, even though it will be a signal. So anticipated that they'll get their fuel when they leave Costco or before they go to Costco?
I have to laugh at that. Do you realize how close this project will be to 1, 2, 3, 4 schools? You are right on the border of 4 schools. 2 of them, elementary schools that have an open plan where children move about outside the school building. And if you've ever been on Silver Valley when the school's let out, you know what a horrendous task it is to try to get through that area. I don't understand how you could build this kind of a store that close to that many schools. I mean, that's a concern.
That
Okay,
is
it's a
something that
concern
definitely is being
traffic
considered.
wise, and also for the safety of the students that go to that school during the school day and after the school day.
That is being considered in the analysis that the county is conducting.
Thank you.
Do you have anything traffic wise? I'm sure it'll come up later. So with that, we're going to open up to the room. Again, we're trying tonight because we've heard that our microphones we need to work better. So if you have a question, let us see who's got a question. If you want to come up to like this microphone and stand there, whatever you want to do, if you want to line up and get in line, we'll just remind everybody, we're trying to keep the questions at 3 minutes and we're trying to keep from repeating them all. As long as we can get as many answers as we can.
Oh, if I do stop you after 3 minutes, don't throw anything at me. Okay.
So,
I grab this cake.
I got my own. I'll get you.
Thank you. So as long as it's green, you can go.
All right. Good evening. Good evening all, and welcome to the second Costco presentation in 2025. My name is Jons van Doren. Together with my wife for the last 24 years, we've been living in Dorado. The last meeting we had in this format was in March 2025. Just to recollect that. I want to thank the EDH APAC committee here again, to spearhead with John David here to organizing, and special thank for Director Ira to be here and attend this event today. But more thank you, I want to say, to all the concerned residents of El Dorado Hills and the surrounding area here, not only in the room, but also on the Zoom meeting. Obviously, this is not going unnoticed. Make sure that you're paying attention to all what's being said and what's being published, and educate yourself. Very, very important. Educate yourself via letters, post on Nextdoor, Facebook, other social platforms. We, the people, have sent close to 300 emails to Cameron Welch. He's the senior planner commissioner on this project. So 300 emails went to him. So good luck with Cameron there. Thank you, Lynette Dias here, president and founder from Urban Planning Partners, to meet with some of the staff and the parents at Oak Meadow School, elementary school. As you call it, community engagement. Stating in an open letter that UPP, Urban Planning Partners, heard and understood our concerns, specifically around traffic, pedestrian safety, air quality, and noise. These are quotes. All very legit concerns, and many others. Costco has directed the technical consultant to expand the analysis in several areas. That was one of the outcomes. It was just addressed as well. I want to remind Lynette that this is not the Bay Area. This is an urban, unincorporated community with a population of 50,000 people in a 28 square mile area. You mentioned on your website that your company strives to make good projects happen. There's a quote. Well, in my humble opinion, and many others, as you can see today, and also see on the Zoom, this is not one of those good projects. Maybe in the Bay Area it is. For the newcomers in this room here, who moved from the Bay Area, from Elk Grove and other places to live in this quiet unincorporated suburban area called El Dorado Hills, welcome. I would like to start off to give everyone a little recap what's going on, just looks like the lady did.
Your time is almost up.
Oh, Jesus, thank you. I will take Jack's time. Costco has designed a two-story parking garage to accommodate the 763 vehicles, which probably needed to regulate due to the size of the building. Well, that was not enough space, the parking, so we needed a two-story parking garage. Well, again, not enough space. We learned earlier that there are very few Costco garages who have 2 stories, one in San Diego, in New York, and San Francisco. Well, there's space limits there. That's why they have them there. Costco then figured out, hey, we need employee parking. So let's create a 68 parking area across the Silver Valley Parkway to park our vehicles for the employees. These employees have to cross Silver Parkway with a medium divider to go back to work every day. Then here we go to the gas station. Sorry about the gas station. 32 fuel pumps. 32. Congratulations to Costco, because I did some homework on Google. You guys are now the #1, potentially the #1 gas station pump facility in the entire state of California. The #1 in
I'm
California.
gonna have to stop you at this point. Thank you for your comments.
Oh, fantastic.
We'll let you go over. All right.
You
You've
okay
been
if
generous.
we
Thank
have
you very
additional
much for your
comments, can we email them in? Okay, so if you have your list, okay, well, we'll get them through, yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Matt McDonald, Serrano resident. Wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but a couple points that I want to make. I have 18 years experience working in the development industry, specifically with CEQA projects. And anytime that I worked on a project for a developer that was controversial, politically controversial in the community, the first thing that we would make sure that we did was to make sure that the draft EIR was released during the holidays. And what we're hearing is that this EIR may be coming out late October, sometime November, or something like that. That's really concerning because that is a very overt signal that they want to suppress public opposition, and that's a problem. On this side of the aisle, this is a problem. The other thing that concerns me is looking at the site plan of El Dorado Hills versus the site plan, the existing store in Folsom. We're talking about a new store that's about 30,000 square feet larger than the existing one, has significantly more parking, and I think a dozen or so additional gas pumps. What we're being told is that this is going to be a kind of our friendly neighborhood El Dorado County Costco. How do we know that if this store opens, you're not going to turn around and close the Folsom store the day after? And that's a real concern, because what that means is we become the regional Costco for Eastern Sacramento and the entire Sierra Foothills between Folsom Lake and, let's say, Jackson. And that's a problem because you're going to have an EIR that won't account for the fact that we're the regional Costco. We're just going to be the friendly neighborhood El Dorado County Costco. And that's a real problem, because that could be a bait and switch. And I'll tell you, they're going to say, well, that'll never happen. Ask this question: what legal responsibility do they have to keep the Folsom store open? Number one. Number two, have they done the same thing in other jurisdictions? Actually, they have. They did one in Vallejo. They did one in Redding. They've done Bend, Oregon, Salem, Oregon, where they closed stores in basically the same proximity, but it didn't matter in those places because it was the same jurisdiction. And that's an issue here, because obviously the county would love to have the sales tax revenue, but what's the cost to us as a community if we become the regional Costco shoehorned onto Silver Valley Road? So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Do you want us to provide some responses?
If you want to entertain those now, that's fine. Are you okay here? There you go. Then you're next.
So I'll start and Michael can fill in. So, oh, your first comment, I just had it. Clark, can you remind me of his first comment? Oh, the release date, thank you. So that is the county's decision. However, I will say, because they're the lead agency, it's not our decision. And I do appreciate what Matt said, but I also am an EIR consultant in addition to working with Costco on entitlements and land use. I will say our firm always tries to not publish them during the holiday period, and we're very specific about that. I know based on discussions with the county, there is a drop dead date where they don't want to publish until a certain point, so they'll avoid. So if they don't make that point, then they'll avoid. Also, we've already agreed to a 60-day public review period. Legally, you only have to have 45 days. So we are really trying to take that into account, or the county is. So that is definitely a consideration. It's not to say that it's not going to come out anytime between now and the end of the year. But they are definitely considering the holidays, and there has been quite a bit of discussion around that. As far as it being a neighborhood Costco, I'm not sure where that might have come from, but I will let Michael speak to the rest of that.
At this point, we're not intending to close this particular warehouse. In fact, the warehouses that you mentioned, Vallejo is not under construction and is not open yet. We're looking to have a second warehouse in Vallejo. We're making that consideration. Other jurisdictions that we do have it, like in Roseville, there are 3 within 3 miles apart from each other, or Tustin, or 2 miles apart, or I can go through the list. We have found that there are certain locations, because of its potential growth, that we're going to keep the warehouses open. So we very seldom do what you're suggesting. We actually are expanding the amount of warehouses in the area, because we believe as you've been to the Folsom warehouse, you can see that it's been overcrowded. It can take the expansion, and with the earlier presentation with all the new development, we expect this to grow as well, to take out a little bit more of the Folsom. So we do not have any plans to close Folsom and open El Dorado Hills in exchange.
Will you commit to not closing Folsom? Will you commit to it? Of course you will. You can't. Right? I mean, you can't. And those examples, I got all of those examples off the internet. It's not like I'm making it up. I mean, generally the same proximity.
But there was another question that you had asked. One was EIR, there was one more.
Well, you had 3 questions. We've covered 2 of them.
We just want to make sure we addressed your questions.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Move ahead. Right. Lenny, you ready?
Lenny?
Good evening, Lenny Patani, El Dorado Hills, and I don't have a question, I have a statement. Benzene is a colorless, highly flammable liquid with a sweet smell. Benzene is harmful to humans. The World Health Organization and the EPA have classified it as a carcinogenic. It has been labeled as a class 1 carcinogenic to humans. It is most often found when cars are idling, as in waiting to get gas from a gasoline station, an idling vehicle. Short-term effects when exposed to benzene, short-term effects are drowsiness, dizziness, headaches, tremors, confusion, and unconsciousness. It can be irritating to the skin, eyes, and throat. It can cause redness and blistering to the skin. Now, if you're faint at heart, you might not want to listen to this. There is sufficient evidence it causes myeloid leukemia, which is blood cancer, acute lymphocytic leukemia, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, multiple myeloma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, anemia, low platelet counts, low white cell counts, immune system problems, harm to reproductive organs, irregular menstrual periods, and ovary shrinkage. When you look up on the internet, and I was a firefighter paramedic for 35 years, so I do have a little medical background also. When you look up how you can reduce your exposure to benzene, you know what it tells you? Limit the time you spend near idling car engines. Vehicle exhaust releases higher amounts of benzene into the air. What are we doing here, folks? Oak Meadows is 1,000 feet from your proposed gas station. Silva Valley is a half a mile away. Rolling Hills and Oak Ridge High School are a mile away. You have got to be kidding me. We're going to expose our kids in this community to all these cancer problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments in the room? You look ready. Okay. And so Linda also is the chair of our Standing Transportation Subcommittee. So I just put that on.
Hi, Linda Campbell. So actually, Tim asked my question earlier because it was specifically about Clarksville Crossing. But then I remembered that we're still waiting for the other road that's coming down.
Country Club, yeah.
Country Club, thank you. I knew it was a C. I think there was discussion potentially about having a light at that. Is there any discussion specifically about Costco potentially contributing to Country Club because of the proximity?
That is also what the county is considering now as part of the EIR and some of the analysis that they're doing with the traffic consultant. So that's a possibility.
And then one last thing, I think in your presentation, actually, you had said winter, spring, 25, 26, potentially for discussion at the Board of Supervisors and Planning Commission, but I think that should say 26, 27.
Yeah, I think that last, the chart got updated, but maybe the last slide didn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Any other questions in the room? Did we ask all our questions previously is what it looks like. So if there are none in the room, I'm going to go to our Zoom attendees, ask you to raise your hand if you have any questions, and I see one right away. There we go. Yang, am I saying your name right?
Johan, this is
Okay.
Johan Shi, a Serrano resident. So back in March, I remember that there was a meeting about this project. And a lot of folks at the meeting expressed concerns about this project, right? And primarily the safety of the kids in the schools and also the traffic on Silver Valley Parkway. So I'm very disappointed because the presentation tonight didn't show, any measures proposed to address those problems or any measure to mitigate the impacts on the kids and on the traffic. So this is my comment. My question here is that I feel this project has left the train station, but still, will the Costco and the planning committee be open to alternative location for this project? And if you look at the spaces within the Dorado Hills, just look at the Bass Lake exit. There's a lot of space there, far away from the residence area, far away from schools. Why don't we consider all those locations? So that's my questions. I want to hear from both Costco and also from the committee. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're
So
prepared.
just on the basis of alternatives, there were a lot of comments in the NOP comments or scoping comments, or there was some comments about alternative sites. So those are being considered by the county and the EIR consultant, and they are considering an alternate site as we understand it, as well as some other configurations of the project in response to the comments received. Costco does own this site, so this is where the project is proposed, partially because of that, but also because of the zoning and the general plan. It's consistent with that.
And so I'll invoke some privilege and jump in. So when this was first proposed in 2019, I know that and a lot of neighbors, we were invited as stakeholders in the community to come and to hear what was being proposed or considered, and there were questions, of course, then. But I know that Costco, and also this is for the benefit of our neighbors further to the east in El Dorado County, when Costco looked at it, it was the only large site that was zoned for commercial regional, which is a big box use. So any place else, they're gonna have to not only, fit it in or whatever, however you want it, they would have to do a rezone. It'd have to be a general plan update. What's proposed right now is only a project that's going to the planning commission. It won't even go to the board of supervisors because unless there's something added like a development agreement, but they're not seeking that at this time. So when we talked and heard about that, they had evaluated other locations in El Dorado County. I know we had questions about, south of 50 along Latrobe with the business park, but the capacity there doesn't exist in terms of facilities and traffic right now. Silver Valley Parkway is only class 1 intersection in the county. The other component to this too is I know our friends in Placerville or Cameron Park asked about it. They don't have that. They don't have that zoning. Missouri Flat would probably be the only other place that would be similar, but then you'd be improving that interchange, which is already pretty impacted. But also Costco is a membership store, a membership organization. They know where their existing members are. And they also know the population numbers. Placerville is about 10 to 12,000 people, and El Dorado Hills is about 50,000 people. Cameron Park's 22,000 people. So they look at their existing members, and truthfully, this is an opportunity for the county to poach a little bit of sales tax from South 50 and Folsom, because when I talk to the Folsom traffic engineers, who are like, that's at level service F forever. That's not going to change, but they will probably come up White Rock Road. So it's an opportunity to turn the table a little bit there, but those are the things that were discussed before. And I know a lot of people in Placerville have been asking, why can't it come up here? It's because you have 12,000 people. And that's just being honest. So, so I know that there's obviously some consideration to explore other facilities, but this is proposed right now for this because of the zoning and the transportation facilities around it. So, and that was my 2 cents, and that's just what we've heard. So, there's another question online, and it's Karen. I'm going to ask you to go ahead. You should be able to unmute.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Karen Liang. I am a Serrano resident, and I'm also a mom with a child in the Rolling Hills Middle School and Oak Meadow, just around the corner. So I guess this is more of a comment. I know we still have the same concerns as we did in our meeting in March, which I went to, so I'm not going to repeat all of them, but I'm just going to focus on the gas station alone. I appreciate that we're all going to wait for reports to come out to make the final decision before making any changes back and forth. But my comment is, regardless of what the report finds, even if it finds that there's not, significant environmental impacts or whatnot, ultimately, we're talking about 32 gas pumps. And when we checked for which way the direction the wind blows for a great majority of the year, it is blowing from the gas station to the school and the kindergarten playground. So again, I appreciate waiting for our report and see what the officials say is. But ultimately, 32 gas pumps with benzene fumes blowing toward the school. Even if everything comes out okay, the optics do not look good. And I just want to state that I do love Costco. I shop a lot at Costco, and even for someone my demographics who loves Costco cannot handle the idea of that much gas in front of schools. And ultimately, what is Costco's legacy? And they want people to remember them for a great store, great product, great business model, or that we really didn't want gas and we ended up with gas in front of our school for very young children. We have TKers at age 4 and onward. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Karen. And I think you've sort of spoken to that already, that you're waiting for them. And that's still a concern. We have another online, and I've already forgotten, you helped us out before. Your name right now is Podium Mic is not working.
Yeah.
I've forgotten your name because it went into my head and right out. So I apologize.
I forget names all the time. My name's Ivan, and I live in El Dorado Hills, also in Serrano. I have a question regarding the
I'm done.
notification radius when it was first given out for the scoping DEIR. I'm new to this stuff, so I don't know very much, but I noticed that the entire neighborhood north of Oak Ridge was completely left out, and there's hundreds of people who live there, hundreds of families, and this Costco will impact Silver Valley Parkway right there where they ride. It's where they walk, it's where they drive. So I was wondering if it's possible for Costco to maybe ask the county to include them for the DEIR, because I think it's kind of unfair for people, so many people who are going to be affected by this, to just be left out. So I don't know if Costco's able to say, hey, we would like these neighborhoods, our neighbors, to be notified about the impact that this will have on them. Because Silver Valley Parkway is the only road, north-south road that will lead to Costco from Green Valley Road. So I'm just hoping that maybe Costco could talk to the county about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. And I know
Yes.
that there's a legal requirement for notification. I think the county exceeds that typically. So
So we can bring this to, let them know for the request, and I'm sure John can as well. But could you just repeat the neighborhood again?
north of Oak Ridge High School,
Okay, great.
along Silver Valley.
Okay.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. And so I don't see any more hands up online. Oh, wait, I spoke too soon. All right, Heather, you should be able to unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I'm Heather Siefkes. I live in Serrano. My children go to Oak Meadow Elementary School. My house is across the street, Silver Valley. Like, my backyard looks at Oak Meadow across Silver Valley. I wasn't actually planning to speak tonight because I've spoken a few times and don't want to repeat myself. So my apologies if I don't have something particularly eloquent to say. But my background is I'm also a pediatric critical care physician. And so one of the things I commonly speak up about regarding this development is my concerns about traffic, because the leading cause of death for children is accidental death, of which car accidents is the leading cause. Obviously, I'm concerned about the air pollution as well. And we'll wait on the analysis, but I anticipate that the analysis, I imagine Costco's not going to put in all this time and this money into, over the last several years of this project, not having a good idea of what the analysis is going to show. And I imagine it's going to show that, the minimal standards will be met. And personally, as a physician and as a mom, I feel as our children's health deserves more than the minimum standard. Also, as a resident, I hear all of the noise down Silver Valley at night. That area is a canyon. And I do worry about the additional noise that the traffic lights will bring in and what the trucks will be in. And then lastly, I want to say I'm actually one of the parents also that met with Costco for Oak Meadow PTO just a few months ago. And I appreciate that you met with us and that you heard us. I'm a little frustrated, though, that was the first time meeting with parents in that kind of setting in Oak Meadow, given the proximity of this development to an elementary school. And then my question is, I see on one of your slides that you have another meeting planned, and I assume it maybe met with parents from the school again. And I'm unaware of that meeting, and so are other PTO members. So could you tell us a little bit more about that and what you plan to discuss with parents at that upcoming meeting?
Yes. The reason you're not aware of it yet is we don't have a date for it yet because as we talked when we met, we didn't want to come back to you all with no new information. So we're waiting till the draft EIR is published. So once the county provides a publication date for us for the draft EIR, we will reach out and talk to the PTO as well as the school district staff and the principal and decide, should we do a meeting with just the PTO? Should we do a broader meeting and kind of decide how best to proceed at that point in time? So once we hear and know when the release date will be, we will reach out.
Thank you. Oh, okay. We're gonna go to Mr.
I have a question. Have you considered the land off of Cameron Park Drive, which would be on the south side of 50 at Cameron Park? There's a huge piece of land. It's not near any schools. It doesn't seem to be near any homes. It would be about 2 miles going east from here. Cameron Park Drive.
I think then that's, again, if the zoning is not appropriate for this type of use.
You know, you can always change zoning.
Well, everyone tries, but no, it would be a rezone and a general plan amendment. Yeah. And the Cameron Park interchange improvement is about $50 to $70 million as it is now. So, but thanks for asking the question. We have 2 more hands up online. I'm going to go to, I think it's Josie. You should be allowed to unmute now.
Yes, thank you for having this meeting. I agree with all the speakers sharing information. I appreciate that. The fact that they have this meeting to discuss the Costco side, it tells us that, well, Costco is not welcome at this location.
Right.
And I would appreciate that Costco would think about that. Costco says they want to build a Costco in a community and better our life, but it doesn't seem it's going to that way. So my feeling is that, well, Costco is not welcome at this particular location. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Josie. All right, have, let's see, I'm looking, and then we have another one is Maria. You should be allowed to unmute now, Maria.
Hey, hi there. Actually, Josie, who spoke right before me, touched on what I'm wondering about. We do live not too far away from the proposed site, and we do not have children. And honestly, we're kind of retired, so we don't buy gas that much. And when we do buy it, we buy it at Safeway. And we don't drive around town looking for the cheapest gas. Okay, I'm losing track. A lot of the comments, a lot of the negative comments are coming from parents of children in the nearby schools. Is there any kind of feeling, and as a result, there's the sense that it's the entire community is against Costco. But is that true? I mean, I remember people going, what? No gas stations? Costco has got to have gas stations. And then I also know that there are people who live just not right near the site or within sight view of the site are not against this plan. Is there any sense of how does the greater community of 50,000 people feel about this Costco? Because honestly, it's the people who are against it who are speaking out. And nobody's going to, who is in favor of it, is going to say, yes, I want to have a Costco close by, because nobody wants their head bitten off. So is that a question? I mean, I hope that there's some way that you can dance around and present some kind of information. Who wants this? Who doesn't want this? Does anybody want this? Or is it really, truly everybody in Serrano who doesn't want this, because that's all we've heard from.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll get our answer when comments are open for the draft EIR. Those, of course, those comments are only about the environmental impact report. So, but when it goes before the planning commission, everyone will have an opportunity to weigh in. So, well, thanks for sharing that, Maria. We have one more. I keep saying that. Heidi, you should be allowed to unmute now.
Actually, this isn't Heidi, this is her husband, but we also live here in Serrano and children who go to Silva Valley and Oak Ridge. And my first thought is, why would Costco put it in the middle of a neighborhood? All the other Costco's from the Bay Area up to this area are not or right in the middle of a neighborhood. And so I'm a little dumbfounded on why they would choose this site next to a school, the bottom of homes in a neighborhood that's going to create a lot more traffic, where not just off of 50, but also the adjacent traffic that's going to happen on Serrano Parkway, coming up through the other side of on the north end of Oak Ridge. It's just going to become a traffic nightmare. And using Clarksville Crossing, it's a 2-lane road. Where are you going to go? You're going to build into the creek? And I just, we shop at Costco all the time, and it's only 2 exits away. Why do they have to build another store 2 exits? I understand the county wants their tax dollars. That's the bottom line. That's all. I'm sure that's all the county was worried about. But why 2 exits away in the middle of a neighborhood? And I just think it's a bad idea. We're from, not originally from this area, and we moved away to get away from places like this. And we don't want to have something that's down the street where you're going to have light pollution, all of the exhaust pollution. And there's a whole myriad of reasons why that Costco should not build at this site. And again, not that we're against the company itself or its business model, but I just don't think it's not a good area to do it. And there's going to be a lot more impact on the immediate neighborhood, people coming from Placerville or even west of 50, or going down 50, going towards like Rancho Cordova. They're going to come up, if they wanted to come up to this Costco. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, and I don't think it's a good idea. I know there's been a lot of as Maria said, negative comments, and maybe the reason why there is because there's more people who do not want the Costco to go in this particular location. And if I had to, our vote is no. We'll continue. It's only, again, it's 2 exits away, and what it's zoned for, I just don't see how it could be zoned for a gas station next to a school. That is just ridiculous. How could Costco company, the corporation, in good conscience, put a facility next to an elementary school, knowing that there can be severe environmental impacts, not today or tomorrow, but in years to come? How could they in good conscience do that? And are they prepared if years down the road, if this goes through? Are they going to have a fund set aside for kids who are exposed and now are older, who've got cancer or other illnesses and diseases because they were exposed to these types of carcinogens? Are they willing to do that? I don't know. So thank you for your time.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay. Do we have one more up? Sorry, I might have lost a hand. Another. Okay. That should be it. All right. Okay. Are there any more in the room? Because I got one at the end, but go ahead. Do you have a microphone nearby?
We're very happy to get an update. My name's Juanita Brand. I do not live in Serrano. I live off of Saratoga. We call it Speedway that they put through. No one asked me if we wanted the traffic, which we don't. I would imagine a lot of Serrano people use that to get to the Costco now. So El Dorado Hills is growing. There's more traffic. I'd like to know if in your study you're considering the cars idling from all the parents picking their kids up from school. Because if benzene is being released, I don't think it distinguishes between parents idling or people getting gas. And I'd like to say we're really excited there'd be a new Costco because it's very hard to shop at the Folsom one unless you go really early. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
We'll relay it to the county and the EIR consultant to make sure that is being done.
One more comment. I worked in air pollution control, but like on big power plants, not on gas stations. But I'm sure the state and the EPA have stringent regulations on gas stations that you can't just be releasing things into the air. That I'm sure those all have to be met.
I have to repeat my comment because I didn't have my mic on. But the comment regarding the school cars idling, we will relay that to the county and they can relay it to the EIR consultant because they're doing that analysis. And I'm not, I think they're considering it, but I'm not positive. So, yeah. So thank you for your comment.
So on vote privilege again, and come back to me. I know that we have, I think in our comments on the scoping, the second scoping meeting, a lot of people at the scoping meeting, and even here when we mentioned what happened at the scoping meeting, had said, well, why can't the gas station be further to the south to get it further away from the school site? And I think when we looked at it, it's an elevation problem. I think the southern part of the site is like 80 feet higher than the northern part of the northern part of the northern site. We always call it east and west, but I think that's pretty accurate.
It's a challenging
Yeah.
location.
And, yeah, I think that one of our concerns too is that we know that when the interchange went in, there was a lot more blasting than had been anticipated because it's Eldorado Hills. There's a lot of rock in the ground. So, yeah. So when we looked at the elevation, we did ask that question, but I think that's probably going to end up being the answer. And in terms of the cumulative impact, I think the draft EIR will do. Will consider the idling cars from like the highway as well. So
yes.
Okay. So, all right. So with that, is there anything back up here that we want back to? Okay. Well, we'd like to thank you for coming again and talking with us tonight. You obviously have a standing invitation for when project updates or anything like that comes along. But we appreciate the time you spent with us tonight.
And just, there is an FAQ on the county's website that we've tried to answer a lot of these questions. So you can reference that as well. And thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So before we adjourn, we have just a couple of things that we show for everyone. If you have, sure, I do, sure. So if you have comments you want to make or questions that you want to ask in advance of our meeting so that we can get the answer before our guests show up, if you submit it by Monday, before our Wednesday meeting, we'll try to get them to the guest speakers. And then the other thing is that our next meeting is maybe, October 8th, 6:30 back in this room. I'll be out of town, but we'll see how we can schedule this and get this meeting in. There's a couple other projects, obviously, we've talked about that are pending. They might be coming up with their final EIRs as well. So we get about a week to 2 weeks to review those. So thank you, everyone, for attending tonight, and look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Really?